Just a week after my chaotic overpacked shoot in Memphis, I was back at it again. This time with a redemption plan. I swapped out gear, simplified my setup, and focused on what really matters: composition and storytelling. In this video, I'm breaking down how I turned a tough lesson into one of my cleanest interviews yet. So I believe it wasn't even a week later. I was back at it again. Back at it, back on my shenanigans, back on my foolishness. In Dickson, Tennessee, for continuing filming for my compassion, my passion, my community, my TEA campaign. So I was back out there in the field, this time in Dickson, Tennessee, to interview a couple teachers. I believe it was a middle school in Dickson. And it was a quick opportunity to redeem myself after what I did. Okay, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't terrible. We all know it wasn't terrible. Nobody was upset or anything like that. But for me, and up here, in my standards, terrible. Absolute dumpster fire. We have to have an opportunity to redeem ourselves. It's like basketball. It's like basketball over again for me. I mean, I wasn't a scorer. I wasn't averaging 25 points a game. I'm 5 foot, but if I didn't have a nice locked down defensive game, drawing fouls and just 10 for 10 at the free throw lines, we got to come back. We got to come back stronger next week. We have to have a better game. And I laughed as I was thinking about maybe I was scoring 20 points. I never kept up with those things when I was playing. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm 32, 31, whatever. And I don't play anymore and I got bad knees. So, yeah, it's back out it. Had to redeem myself, had to do better, and definitely learn from last week's shoot to this week's shoot and the gear that I brought. So let's go over the exact gear I brought for this project. Okay, so I packed my Sony FX3 with my Sony 35mm as my A camera, and then I packed my Sony FX30 with my Sony 50mm as my B camera. I also brought my small rig 50-watt batteries for both cameras, instead of just using the regular like MPF batteries that come with the camera, because I realized when you interview, you just don't know how long things are gonna go, and you need a lot of power. Not a lot of power, just power that is not going to die within 45 minutes to an hour or 2 hours. You just want them suckers to keep running, especially when you're testing out shots, trying to see what works, and just, finagling. You need a big battery pack. And I highly recommend Small Rig. Video is not sponsored by them, so maybe one day. Anyway, brought the cables and adapters and XLR cables. Then I brought for my Sony FX3, I brought the XLR handle that comes with it, and then also I don't think for this shoot I brought the top handle of like the little mini hot shoe XLR camera inputs for my second camera and my B camera FX30, but still I brought the top handle, and of course I brought the Rode boom microphone. I think it's an NTG3, I believe. I never look. I got it off a friend. I still to this day don't know why she bought it, but hey, thank God for me be able to come and buy it, because I know I'm sitting on so much lighting equipment that I don't use that I can't sell, because I don't know anybody that does what I do that would need it. So there's that. So anyway, Rode boom microphone. Then I bought the boom arm and its attachments. As much as I would love to go into detail about maybe I will. Maybe I'll list it out. About all the attachments that are needed just to set up a boom microphone, so you don't have the issue that I had, the last week, where my arms are giving out, my shoulders are a little tired, and I'm just like moving them and tilting down, and you got all that feedback, all that rustle and tussle in the audio. So very imperative to have all the accessories needed to set up a boom microphone. I have a tote now with just all its stuff in there, so I just bring the whole tote and nothing is forgotten, because it's literally like if you miss one piece of the boom operation, you can't boom anything overhead over anyone. So there's that. So just food for thought, advice, get a tote, or some kind of bag or something like that. So anyway, you had 2 tripods. I think these were the Magnus or the MG VTMs or something like that. I don't use them anymore, but for the sake of this video, we'll talk about the tripods that I used for that shoot Didn't like it, upgraded it for the next shoot. But anyway, I had one. I don't know why A1. It's not A1, sorry. I had a C-stand, one C-stand, and one metal light stand. And then I had the Amaran 200X with an Aputure light dome Mark III with grid attached to that Amaran 200X. And then I had brought my Amaran PT4C light tube in the background. It's kind of funny. You're going to see with some of these videos where I started off with the light tube, thought it was a good idea, and I was like, that's stupid, take that out. And I've never brought it again. But we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it. So that's the gear that I brought. Yeah, this gear was efficient. This gear was quick. It was easy to set up and break down, especially, I think sometimes, and, I don't know, I can't ask anybody, but in certain situations with just professional, not cinematic, but these professional interviews, and I feel like even with some cinematic interviews, it's just easier to set up a softbox than it is to set up a big sheet of diffusion or to do book lighting. But of course, that does give a better look with book lighting and bigger sheets of diffusion. So if you can do it, I would do it. If you have people around you to help you, then definitely get them to help you. But in certain situations like this where it's running, kind of not running on, but just setting up quickly and then trying to get out, it's so much easier not only buying and using a softbox, but having the Aputure Mark III light dome that just pops. There's other ones that are quick, but you gotta pull each tab, to open it up, and that kind of can sometimes be a pain. Versus just having this click, like pull the two hands. Now you gotta have you need some muscles, you need a little. I like I'm sorry down here. You gotta have some forearm grip or something, but other than that, like, it's easy to just pop it, set it on the light stand, pop in the Amaran 200 and pop it on the C-stand and go to work and pop it right back down, if that made any sense. A lot of popping. So there's that. But yeah, this is super efficient, super quick, less things to pack, and it helped me focus, or gave me time to focus on the composition, which is so important. I might have a separate video just on composition, because no matter the camera you own, the lighting kit you bring, if you don't have any composition, any depth, any layers in your shot, it does not matter. You could have shot that with a phone, honestly. Kind of wasted your time if you don't know anything about composition. You're looking for some composition, you're trying to make a shot that is beautifully composed. It just will not matter unless you're vlogging, because vlogging is vlogging. You're just going around shooting your day in front of everything as life unfolds. There's no need for anything to be. You can make things cinematic and put things in the foreground and shoot between walls. No, shoot a frame within a frame, stuff like that, which is composition. You can make, have shots, but that's just a sequence. That's just an intro. That's a recap of the video, and the rest is just you, handheld and sticking a camera here, doing things like that. But for stuff like this, for a professional interview and just, talking head videos and things like that, you gotta have good composition, decent composition. So please do not go out and buy these expensive cameras, these hybrids, the Osmo Pocket 3, maybe, I don't know. Well, Osmo Pocket 3 is kind of decent. And throw a color grade on and shooting 24 frames. It still feels a little choppy and digital in my opinion, but whatever. But still, don't invest in camera equipment and lighting equipment or a lighting kit and know nothing about composition. It will literally not matter. It literally will not matter. So nail that in. And so that's why it was so important as a step up from last week's shoot, is being able to sit down and find the composition in this library, because round 2 in the library I had to figure it out, but this time it was a square. So thank God it was a square and not a circle. So we had some stuff to work with. So let me walk you through how I got to work finding the right composition in this library. So for this particular location, I saw my composition coming from the corner of the room, because I will say composition is not always just finding a corner in a square room to shoot in. That's helpful. That's leading lines, just like here in my living room. I found the corner in my living room to shoot in, so that like the lines kind of draw your eyes to me. But for this specific space, it worked. I love the fact that the shot had the read sign to my left or the subject's right. And I also love that there was a window as well, kind of giving the background a little bit of interest because there was a bus out there as well, and just exposing for that, putting my key on that side. Didn't have a super duper powerful light to just make, to expose the window completely. But from what I can remember, I'm going off of memory right now, just like thinking about what it looked like. It's pretty exposed. You pretty much could see out there. But yeah, I just loved having that read in the corner, especially since the teachers were talking a lot about the literacy rate in our state and how important that was for the children. Just important, how important literacy is just for society to grow and to thrive and things like that. So I thought it was really important to have that little piece in the background. And yeah, it was great depth. It was great layers. But something, I think I said it earlier, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in detail now, is just the fact that I threw a tube light under the read sign, thinking that was cool. Listen, something that I did then, but I don't do now, is just try to bring accent lights, accent lights, practicals, or to anything, because everybody loves practicals. As you can see, I don't know which direction. Here's my practical. Love that practical. Even love the practical kind of from the window here and stuff like that. I just love it, and even like the mirror. There we go. Right here. I just love creating layers in my shot. Visual interest. But when you're going to locations that are unseen, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. And also too, it's just a lot to try to like make practicals. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm talking through it, I would say though, instead of using a light tube that just wasn't working, I would have probably opted for, an MC Pro maybe behind each book, or even better, I probably would have brought my other, I would have probably brought like my Amaran 150C, and I would have brought my, I think it's Aputure, maybe it's Amaran, I'm not sure, but it's my spotlight mount, and I would just, thrown a slash of light across that read sign or something like that in the background just to give it more visual interest. But that's the thing though, when things are sight unseen, I don't know that until I get there of how I would have lit that scene. I would have gave that, shot, that frame more layers, more depth. I'd only know that after I left. Like, that's what I would have done. And so that's, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I'm talking through this in real time, I wouldn't bring it because I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So if I had the luxury of knowing ahead of time what I'm going to get myself into and how I would light it, then yes. Knowing, hey, you're going back to Dickson, you're going back to that library, I most certainly would pack that second light with that spotlight attachment, and I would give it a slash of light, some kind of like texture on that wall, especially on that read, to kind of just elevate the frame. But still turned it off, thought it was stupid, and just worked with the one key to the 45 degrees from the subject, and just let the corner of the room work, leading lines, second angle, all the things, and yeah, it looked really good. I was really, really happy with the image and how it came out. And the fact that I was able to take my time to find that frame, to find that composition. So the only thing that I would have changed in the shoot, or I would have done better, which I would have redone, was just bringing the mic closer. Like I said, it's not even one of those things I feel like anybody noticed in post or anything like that. But I just like to have the boom, try to get it pointed down, coming towards the chest, just out of sight of the camera, out of view of the camera. I don't know what I was trying to say. It was a fancy word. I would like to done that, brought the mic closer, and I would also have liked to turn off all the lights, and just over that space. I remember having all the lights still on in the library, so therefore I was battling their lights and my lights. Color grade wasn't too difficult, but yeah, if I could go back, I would definitely see if that was an option. Sometimes in those spaces it's not an option to turn off all the lights. You just have to work with the lights, and try to match them so you don't have mixed lighting or anything like that. But yeah, if I could go back, do that. Those are like the only two things, but I loved how it came out. It looked great, and it was such a redemption arc from what I did in Memphis a week prior. So there's that. So that is it for today's breakdown. I hope you found it helpful and insightful per usual, and also that you can see that you don't need all these tools, all these lights, all these fancy gadgets and things like that to make a shot look professional. Not cinematic, professional, okay? I think there's a big difference in even, I'm not learning it. I'm just like accepting that like this shot is not gonna look cinematic. It's just not. There is, because we've been talking about in the filmmaking space that word is used loosely and it's used too widely. Like that's not cinematic, just because you have a cinema camera doesn't make it cinematic. It's just professional. It's just legit. It's just nice to look at. But there is so many layers, book lighting, shooting through walls and color grades that make things look cinematic. So I think with this and making a point and letting you know that just one light, and being able to expose your shot correctly, and most importantly focusing on your composition and having leading lines and things like that in a frame within a frame, that's what makes a shot look professional. And if you want to go the extra mile and have a team and have, everybody, gripping lights and making book lights and doing all these things to make it look cinematic and doing things in post-production with color grades and stuff like that to make it look cinematic, and that's definitely what you can do, and it's worth it, and you can invest all those things. But if you just want to keep it simple as a crowbar and you just want your content to look professional, you just want your interview to look professional, you just want your video to look professional, one key light and knowing composition will do just that. So like and subscribe, share with a friend, because sharing is caring, and also because there's more videos to come just like this one. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. I love you as usual, even though I don't know you. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye. My butt is killing me. Let's see. I gotta get a new stool. Good grief.